One of the biggest takeaways from both A Class Divided and the Stereotype Threat video is how quickly students' performance, confidence, and behavior can shift when they feel judged based on identity rather than ability. In A Class Divided, Jane Elliott demonstrates this powerfully. When students were labeled as inferior, they not only performed worse academically, but also internalized that label, becoming hesitant and disengaged. This mirrors the stereotype threat video, which shows that when students are aware of a negative stereotype about their group, the anxiety of possibly confirming that stereotype can directly lower their performance, even if they're capable. This connects directly to Claude Steele's work in Whistling Vivaldi. On page 98, Steele quotes, "No special susceptibility is required to experience this pressure. Research has found but one prerequisite. The person must care about the performance in question. That's what makes the prospect of confirming the negative stereotype upsetting enough to interfere with that performance." It explains that the stereotype threat occurs when individuals feel at risk of confirming a negative stereotype about their social group, which can interfere with their thinking and performance. This highlights that the issue is not ability, but the psychological pressure placed on students in certain environments. The PowerPoint and the article from Dynamic Ecology, WordPress.com, reinforce this idea by emphasizing how even subtle cues such as language, grouping, or teacher expectations can trigger stereotype threat and impact student outcomes. Reflecting on this, my biggest realization is that classroom environments are never neutral. They either reinforce or disrupt these pressures. As a pre-service teacher, I want to intentionally work to prevent stereotype threat by creating a classroom culture rooted in high expectations, belonging, and growth. First, I would emphasize a growth mindset by praising efforts, strategies, and improvement rather than innate ability. This helps students to see intelligence as something that they can develop, reducing the fear of proving a stereotype. Second, I want to be very mindful of my language and expectations, ensuring that all students receive equally challenging work and encouragement rather than unconsciously lowering expectation for certain groups. Additionally, I would normalize struggle as part of learning and explicitly discuss how stereotypes can affect thinking, helping students to externalize the pressure rather than internalize it. Representation would also be key, especially as an art teacher. I want to incorporate diverse artists, perspectives, and role models into the curriculum so that students can see themselves reflected in success. This also keeps attention at bay. Finally, I would build strong relationships and a sense of community in my classroom where students feel safe, valued, and capable. Ultimately, both the class divided and stereotype threat research shows that students rise or fall not just based on ability, but the messages they receive about who they are. My role as a teacher is to ensure those messages consistently communicate, "You belong here and you are capable of success."